and vocalist extraordinaire. We'll be hearing more from her later. What we're actually going to do is just start the day and say, hello, everybody. Welcome. Hello. Welcome to Woodland Chapel. You know, this is the best place to be on a Sunday morning, don't you? Hey, hi there, Rabbi. How you doing? We missed you. We missed you here a couple of Sundays. We're going to sing right away, aren't we? We're going to stand up and sing our wonderful opening song. And I don't have a program. I do. I found one. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yes, let's go.
Oh, hello. Good morning. Can y'all hear me okay? Yes? Can you hear me? Hello? Can't hear me? I'm going to keep talking until you can hear me. Aaron's going to help us out.
There we go.
Okay, hello. We're going to sing Give Yourself to Love by Kate Wolf. Just the first little part. Just going to start giving ourselves to love. Kind friends all gathered round, there's something I would say, that what brings us together here is bless us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where kinders are as family and loneliness can't hide. So give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your heart to the tears and laughter. Yes, give your heart to love. Give yourself to love. Yes, give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Yay. All right, and also, we're going to sing happy birthday to anyone who has a birthday this month. So let's get ready. Raise your hand if you have a birthday in November. Any November birthdays? We're going to love you up, okay? Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, November birth you. Happy birthday to you. Loving you up. Many, many more.
Many, many more. So, welcome to the best place on a Sunday morning. I've said that before, but I'll say it again. This is, actually, this is Salem's first, finest, and it is the first and finest. First, it used to be the Church of Religious Science, and now it still is, but we are also known as the first and finest Center for Spiritual Living. Wow, how you like a double title there. So today, you know what's going on today, right? You brought some goodies. We brought some goodies. We're going to have a potluck. So join us today after potluck. A couple more announcements here, and then we'll get right on with the service. Kathy Daniels has still got that book group wide open, and there's people having fun. If you got the book, don't have the book, is there one they can read with the class if they just want to show up, or should they have the book? Should have the book, right? Yeah. Okay. The Universe in a Single Atom, the Convergence of Science and Spirituality. Isn't that a mouthful? Sounds good, though. Dalai Lama. Yeah, can't beat the Dalai Lama. Join there on Fridays at 2 o'clock. They go from 2 o'clock to 2:30. 3:30, excuse me. So they're going to have these discussions, going on for 6 to 8 weeks, according to the gang. And something that's really, you don't want to miss this coming up. On Saturday, November the 18th, between 1 o'clock and 3:30, we're going to have something that we remember having a similar thing another time by our wonderful practitioner, Cheryl Ostrander. It's called The Faces of Gratitude. Faces of Gratitude. And the title here talks about together we're going to just explore these deeper levels of being thankful, thankfulness, gratefulness. And I love the way she puts the cost at priceless pricing. She keeps you guessing on that. You see.
Yeah, and I have to say I'm going to make sure I'm in there in that workshop because what I know is gratitude is a powerful practice.
Yeah.
What we are grateful for multiplies, and I really want to expand that.
That's good, absolutely. We're talking about the thing about expansion here today, later with Reverend Julie. So Soup for the Soul is not going to be held this month, and there's a reason for that, because on Thanksgiving Day, instead, we're going to have a full-blown Thanksgiving dinner, turkey and all. And it's 2 o'clock. If you'd like to join us, you're invited to bring a side dish to share. We got that turkey ready to go, turkey and all the fixins. Sign up in the library. There's a sign-up sheet. Always got a sign-up sheet, Ginger. Yeah, there's a round table. I missed all that. Okay, well, you'll find it in there. Look around and don't miss it, okay. And there's something we always like to talk about, and that's our confidential prayer request forms. In the front of the pews where you sit, you'll see them sitting there. They're in there. It's in the seat pocket there. And we just say, go ahead and fill one out if you feel so inclined to do so. We make sure that a practitioner or a minister sees that, and only they see that. It's very confidential, and we get right to work with any request that you have that you would like to have put to prayer. And if you'd like to do this in person, buttonhole Reverend Julie, Reverend me, Reverend Moore, and any of our practitioners, they are here they're wearing their stoles. You'll recognize them. There's a few here. Some aren't wearing their stoles, but you'll know who they are because they'll walk up and say, hi, everybody. They're very friendly. And we're ready to pray right on the spot with you. Okay, one more thing here. If you are feeling that you would like to serve this community in any way, whether it is to help with the food or the anything, just contact one of us, any minister here or a practitioner, and we'll kind of steer you in the right direction. We like having people who join us every once in a while, like some friends from California who came up and stayed with us for several months. Oh, they're back. They were so loved. Well, we kind of like you still, but they were so loved. They just jumped right in without being asked and just said, I'm going to help here, I'm going to help there, I'm going to help here, I'm going to help here. I love you guys. So we're glad to see you again. So hope you come back. Hope you're here on our Christmas program. Yeah, that's going to be great, you guys. Don't miss that. We're going to start talking about it from here on out. That Christmas program on the 23rd of December is going to be a knockout program. You're going to love the music and everything else. Okay, are we ready to move on here? Let's kind of settle our hearts in, and let's have Reverend Ruth, Practitioner Ruth, come up and do a prayer for us.
Good morning. Let's take one deep breath and release it slowly. The breath is what really keeps us all going. It is something inside that always says, you are God. God is you. God is all there is. So all there is God. And I know that everyone here knows their heart, the still small voice, which is actually a large, loud voice giving us direction. And I know that today, all is well. Everyone is in place and ready to go. And I know that all is well with everyone here, with everyone who is not here that has need of healing, love, abundance, joy. I'm so thankful that these pieces of ourselves are available. All we need to do is believe and love, and we are loved. And I say again, God is all there is, and all there is God. My hands, my feet are God working. My voice is God speaking. I release these words into the law of love, which always says yes. And if you'll join me in speaking, and so it is. Now, if you'll all trustily take out your bulletins, there is in the halfway down about affirmation. Please join me as I watch the outpouring of blessings in my life. They extinguish the flames of my doubt, so I trust divine intuition to open an amazing new path ahead. And so it is.
Thank you, Ruth. At this time, we like to have a reading, and that's John Eels. He's coming up right now.
Happy November, everybody. The title of the reading today is Cultivate a Generous Heart. And it starts with a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which goes as follows: "Life's most persistent and urgent question is, what are you doing for others?" And the text that follows is a story about Dolly Parton. Dolly Parton's father's inability to read motivated her to offer a gift to millions of children. Because her father was illiterate, she long carried a vision to help children improve their reading skills. She knew that fostering a love of reading in a child's early years yielded success in later life. In 1995, she launched Dolly Parton's Imagination Library for the children in her home county in Tennessee. When a child enrolled, he or she received a free book once a month until the age of 5. Almost 30 years later, the program has spread throughout the United States and expanded to 4 other countries. And she said, "When I was growing up in the hills of East Tennessee, I knew my dreams would come true. I know there are children in your community with their own dreams. They dream of becoming a doctor, or an inventor, or a minister. Who knows, maybe there is a little girl whose dream is to be a songwriter and singer." To date, the program has reached more than 2.5 million children and distributed more than 211 million books. From the pain of seeing her father struggle because he couldn't read, Parton created a vehicle that gives to families and communities, allowing millions of children to explore new worlds and dream bigger dreams through books. Gandhi said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." Cultivating a generous heart is a road worth traveling. And our bonus affirmation today is as follows: I enact the law of circulation and enjoy both giving and receiving.
Thank you, John. Before we have some music, I'd like to say welcome to a person here today by the name of Tom I just met. And I don't know if there's anyone else that's here for the first time. Okay. Hi, Tom. Welcome. We hope you like what you hear. We hope you like what you see. We hope you'll come back. Okay. We're going to sing. We're going to hear it's a nice song now.
Before I sing, I just want to say I'm very grateful for this community, and thank you for being so welcoming and warming, and I feel so seen and appreciated, and I'm so grateful. My heart is touched every time. And it's quite a fun thing choosing the music for these Sundays, because I kind of just let spirit, intuition, whatever, guide me, and I love when something that is said just so ties it in, and just that's just what happened. This is called Courage from the Heart. I've sung it for y'all before. I wrote it earlier this year, and the lyric is, "The road less traveled is less traveled for a reason." And it's just, so love it. So this is Courage from the Heart. Traveled is less traveled for a reason. It's lined with mirrors, you must face yourself. The journey's done on your own, with courage from the heart. It's easier to stay on the beaten path. Where others go, we follow, thinking they know better. But deep within, that little child's crying. Use courage from the heart. Only you know where it is. You alone can take the steps. Every day we have a choice to let ourselves be free and fall into who we're meant to be. The road less traveled is less traveled for a reason, but it's never too late to change your way and just start walking. The life we crave is ours to take, with courage from the heart. With courage from the heart. With courage from the heart. Thank you.
That's Ari Harris. And Ari, we are grateful that you are here. You have such a wonderful voice. And it really is a heart-touching voice. So, yeah, so glad you're here. So one of the things I have always enjoyed as a minister, my favorite thing, and I think we used to call it equipping, I don't know, but is watching people grow and succeed and prosper. I mean, it's like with my children, you know, I love to watch them grow up and become who they can be and all that they can be. And as the minister, to stand and watch all of us unfold. And so I'm excited to focus on prosperity. And this series, and doing the planning for this series, I became so excited about it, as I sometimes do. You guys, I'm going to move this board before I fall off of it. I like it because it makes me taller, but it's also a little tippy. I guess we can't be who we aren't. So I thought, let's begin the new year on a new leaf. And so I thought, so I thought, I'm going to teach, I went through a lot of my classes and the classworks, and I was just excited, and I thought, now I want to teach financial freedom. So in January, if you are interested, there is a sign-up, sort of a sign-up. It's just very rough right now because I don't actually know exactly what date. But if that is something that you are called to, that is of interest to you, and I hope it is, because this is a really, really good curriculum. And so I want to do financial freedom. And you see, the interesting thing is if we focus on love or healing or prosperity or freedom, the practices in each of these areas open up all of our areas, because it is opening up to the inner flow. And what is the inner flow but that divine presence, which is all the qualities that we of the higher vibrations, the qualities of love and prosperity and order and harmony and joy, and all of that. As we even focus on one of these, it opens up that space for all healing in all areas of our life. So anyway, it's going to be out there, and you'll hear more information about it. And today is our second in a four-part series on prosperity. And last week we looked at prosperity, the prosperity mindset. And that's where we begin, isn't it? This is always where we begin, on our beliefs, on where our mind is. The mind is the builder. And it's our beliefs that limit us or grow us, that expand us or keep us perhaps where we are, even though we have this inner calling to release and unveil and become greater, or something calling us. And you know, it's not how intelligent we are, it's not how educated we are, it's not where we come from. And we often think that those things are the crucial things, and they absolutely aren't. So we can't let the idea limit us. The idea limit us. And Ernest Holmes said, he said this, and I said this last week, and I want to say it again, in case some of you didn't actually hear it. So, no judgment. Sorry. There is a power for good in the universe greater than you and I are, and we can use it. Think about that. We just think it's all within our own self. But when we open up, there is a power in the universe greater than us. Then we can use it. Fillmore put it this way: when we have established ourselves in the flow, we experience a feeling of freedom. And isn't freedom really what we're wanting? In prosperity, when we talk about prosperity, isn't it a sense of freedom that we're really wanting to experience? Because underneath all of our desires is a feeling and an experience. And think about that if it's a new idea for you. And because this is the point, freedom. Knowing that there is enough. And I am capable, you are capable of manifesting in our life this abundance. I am capable of taking the right actions that bring me into a place where I can achieve the goals of my life, where I can feel the free flow, that I don't have to struggle. And see, freedom is it really is the opposite of anxiety and worry. Freedom is the opposite of anxiety and worry. Freedom to be, to do, to have what we desire. And this is what we all want. It's an experience. It's because, and you guys, I said last week, this isn't about magical thinking. And I know that draws us, that if I just say this or do this or I have this mantra, all of it's going to unfold. This isn't about magical thinking. This is about actually taking steps of transformation. So how can I experience this freedom? And you get a sense of what that's like, because when we're just in a sense of worry, we're bound by that. There's a part of us that doesn't have the openness, the freedom to just experience joy and peace, because we're just bound up in that worry and that anxiety of something. So how can I experience the freedom that prosperity brings? And the topic today is called Debt is Doubt and More. So, and one of the things that is keeping people stuck, you guys, is debt. So I told you this was going to be a very pragmatic series. And Lloyd Strom in Financial Freedom used the term debt is doubt. And when I first heard that, I thought, I just didn't understand what he was saying. It didn't make any sense. And I had to think about it a long time, even after I read this explanation, which I think is really great. Debt is the manifestation of doubt. And he explained it this way: whenever we doubt that we have the financial resources necessary to express ourselves, we will go into debt in order to have that freedom. Does that make sense? I know it took me a while to really, really get what he was saying. And I wanted to talk about that because I'm talking about freedom. And prosperity is an avenue, one of the avenues to freedom. So I want to say that again. Whenever we doubt that we have the financial resources necessary to express ourselves, we will go into debt in order to have that freedom. And it's our impatience that often motivates to go into debt. This is because impatience is a lack of faith, which is doubt. And I kind of really related to that. I see some quizzical looks on her face. I kind of related to that because I want what I want, and I want it right now. I see the head shaking. It's a good, and I need it now. And so I really have to work with that. And I've been working with that really well lately, just making a plan and having the patience and working with the process. And yeah, of course, if I spend enough time working, then I can't think of what I'm not getting right now when I want it. So he says, whenever we fall into debt, we can be sure that we have doubts within ourselves that are responsible for it. And if that sounds confusing to you, just think about it for a while, because it did take me a while to really get that idea. That if I have the faith that there is a power greater than me that will supply this, and that I am one with the presence of God that is everything, the incredible abundance of the universe, and I see it all around, I see it in people, I see it everywhere, then why am I limited? What is it in me that is limiting that? And it is the doubt in me that I have it within me to create that. And it comes down, I think, to feeling that I am not enough. And we're literally in bondage when that is our feeling, because it keeps us in bondage. And I remember for a long time, I just totally doubted that I had the ability to generate income because I had been so well taken care of and everything had been provided me as a young person. And I'm totally blessed by that. And now as I'm, the older I get, the more the blessings I see in how my grandparents took care of me. But there was a part of me that doubted my own ability. And that really kept me stuck in so many ways. And of course it wasn't true. It wasn't true, but it was a belief I came to believe with. And I don't know, where we all have something, don't we? We all have something. And so I'm going to tell you a story about a really close relative. And they had just graduated from college. They were a little bit older, but they just graduated from college, and they hadn't yet, in their first job, they hadn't yet reached that professional level where they were vested with insurance. I don't know, you're making too much money, but then you don't have quite, it would come, but in that little gap time, guess what? They got really sick, and they were in the hospital for a week. And when they left the hospital, they had like $100,000 or more in a bill. So naturally, they were stressed. You know, that could put you back in the hospital just worrying about the bill. And you can just imagine how they felt. And we were talking about it. You know, it could feel like, well, I'm in lifelong bondage to this debt. And they thought, well, maybe I could do bankruptcy. You know, here's the legitimate thing, hospital bills. And, you know, I remember something that Rick Warren said, and I suggested perhaps not bankruptcy. Because I remembered something Rick Warren said. He wrote that Purpose-Driven Life. Do any of you remember that wonderful book? He said that means you can take the easy way out and file for bankruptcy. Sure, bankruptcy is legal, but it doesn't make it moral. It's not moral to stiff somebody out of a debt. That when we go into bankruptcy, we leave the debt with somebody else. And so there was this decision, because that just seemed like, wow, an easy out. Don't we come up with ways rather than trusting the process? And when you've got a debt like that from a hospital, I agree, it is breathtaking. And so the payments on that at that point were a little bit more than they could make. So they called the hospital to arrange a different payment schedule and began to explain and what their job was and when the insurance would kick in and all this stuff. And they needed to make arrangements to make payments, which of course probably would be for the rest of their natural life. So they got a call back that very day where the hospital forgave everything but $20,000 of that debt. And then a little bit later forgave most of that. And I could not help being a minister and kind of like, I told you so. I didn't say I told you so. Maybe I did. I hope not. But I said, did you notice that was a finance? You just made $80,000. It didn't come in a paycheck, but it's prosperity, all the same. How often do we not look at our prosperity because it doesn't come in a paycheck? And even getting a hospital bill reduced, well, it didn't come in a paycheck. But prosperity, that's a true story. That's a true story. It's not that we never borrow anything. We borrow for a mortgage, of course, because that's a return value. We borrow maybe for education. But consider where we go into debt and why. Because it is inversely proportioned to our prosperity. And the process of consciously getting into debt, but then being able to get ourselves out of it. So if that's where we are today, to begin the process of getting out of it is such a faith builder, you guys. It is such a faith builder. You may not have that much forgiven from a hospital, but it is interesting. If we're in that flow, we're in that process, and there is a need or something, money will show up. And after last week's talk, I had 3 people come up and tell me about something they had received that they didn't know how they were going to pay something, and then all of a sudden, in the most amazing ways, it shows up. Sometimes in the mailbox, and you're like, what? Oh, well, that's an old something I owed you. Or so, you guys, it does. It actually works that way. And think about how much energy we would have if we didn't have to worry and be stressed. And that energy could be put to something creative. And so the next other principle, other than debt, the next principle is responsibility. Eric Butterworth said, if you have not read by any of Eric Butterworth's books, you need to get them, particularly, okay, I'll think of it, but any of Eric Butterworth's books. He is fantastic and fabulous. He's a master. And he says this, you begin by taking spiritual economics. That's it, spiritual economics, which many of you have read. And in that book, he says this, you begin by taking responsibility for your own life. What we take responsibility for, we can change. Interesting statement, isn't it? If somebody else is responsible, do we have the power to change it? But if we take that responsibility, what we take responsibility for, we have the power to change. He said it's never appropriate to blame any other individual, institution, or outside influence. Admit to yourself that your present experience, even the condition of your bank account, reflects your present level of awareness. No judgment. None of this is ever judgment, guys. It's all information that we can use to transform, to become more open to the full flow of that presence of God. That full flow of this universe, that we have something to do, and when we become totally in alignment with it, we are able to do whatever it is we are called to do, whether it's write a song that inspires. And what we know, and when Ari sings here, there is something about us that opens up. So we have a gift to give, and it can be given fully when we really get this stuff. I was just saying, I was raised by my grandparents because my mother had died. And my grandmother liked to tell stories about her life, which was quite a bit more interesting than mine, as it turns out. But she and my grandfather were married in 1906, and they had $20. And so they homesteaded, because that country in southern Idaho, it wasn't the Willamette Valley, it was what was left over. But they homesteaded, and at one point, they decided to sell this homestead after they had proved up and improved it and made a working farm. They decided to sell it and buy this farm near where my grandmother was born, because it had better water rights, which, if you're from the West, water rights are what you understand. So anyway, they bought this farm, which cost more than the one that they were selling, so they had to borrow some money, which they had never done. And in those days, there weren't mortgages like we have now. This amortized mortgage where we pay so much, and in 20, 30 years, it's paid off by paying so much a month. In those days, before amortized mortgages, you took out a loan, it came due 5 years, you paid the whole loan. So you're going to buy a house, in our today's money, $300,000 maybe. Okay, in 10 years, that $300,000 is going to come due, all of it. So that's the way it was before Amitar's mortgages. So they had to borrow this money, and I don't know, something like $2,500 or something like that. And my grandmother loved to tell the story. She had a big garden and grew all sorts of things. And my grandfather, aside from being a wheat farmer and having cattle, had bees, and so they sold honey. And my grandmother would sell these little cartons of berries and things for 10 cents each. And she told me how one day she went to the bank and had $1,200 in dimes that they saved up, and they were extremely thrifty. They were extremely thrifty. And the upshot of this was, the lesson I got out of this, and I really, this whole story has always stuck with me. So when they didn't live high on the hog during the 20s, you know, many people did because thought it was always going to last, but if we spend more than we have, somehow that comes due. And so when the Depression came, they had no debt, because the first thing they did was work very diligently to pay off that mortgage, that loan. They didn't call it a mortgage, it was a loan. And when the Depression came, they didn't owe any money, which, like a lot of farmers did. It's hard to farm, it's hard to have a business without loans. So they didn't lose their farm like a lot of people did. And in fact, they were able to have money available. And when the school needed money to keep their teachers employed, they were able to loan money to the school, and then it would be paid back with interest. And this was always, so in the end, during the Depression, they actually made money. And this was always a great lesson to me. I loved that story, because I never thought that anything would stand in my way, ever. Maybe, you know, you could say, wow, that was an illusion. But because I believed that, I never felt that anything ever stood in my way. I could always do what it was that I wanted to do. Just by her stories. The Depression that I got, and I knew about that historically, but it was like, how do we get through this? And it was like, she would tell me about making dresses for my mother out of flour sacks. And I didn't know if that was a lesson for me because I had a closet full of clothes, or if that was just another story that she absolutely loved. The way, and after she passed, there was a little jar, and it was full of strings, that anytime you took a string off something, you would save that string, because you might use that string again. So, just this whole mindset. So, watch our words. How often do we give something outside of ourselves power over us? And so, as a practice this week, and we do this in New Thought all the time, because we know how our words are powerful. Our words are absolutely powerful. Watch how we speak. Watch how we speak. Where do we give our power away? To whom do we give our power? The government, the economy, the boss, wherever. Just watch our words and be aware, because our words matter. And the second principle is one of order. They say that order is the first law of heaven. And it's the nature of the universe. But there's an ongoing process about order. I found order really fascinating, because I'm not always, that's one of the things I struggle with. Keeping my house in order, keeping the bookkeeps in order. And order, our cells are so orderly. of you study cells. But you know what they're doing? They're constantly also releasing toxins. So it's not about, I really got this and it made me feel good. Because I don't know about you, but like in our garage, we have stuff. And it gives birth to more stuff. I know, the minute we leave, it's like, oh, I wonder what all that stuff is doing in there. Oh, it's multiplying. So this idea, you think, oh, I've got to have everything in order. I've got to have everything in order. And I wish it were all in order. But this is what I got. See, like, I was thinking about cooking, and I don't like to cook. And one of the reasons I don't like to cook, because it makes my kitchen messy. And when my kitchen is messy with all the pots and pans, I have to clean them up, and I have to do the dishes. And I don't like to do that. And I don't like the mess. So I thought if I could just keep it in order. But I really got something in this process, and maybe it's just because I want to feel better. I don't know. I think this is true, though. Order and chaos exist together. And yeah, and the universe, I mean, stars explode. There's a chaos that reorders itself. And without the cooking, we would, not do very well surviving. And so there is the cleaning up. And it's the same thing with the creativity. When we're being creative, we usually can create disorder. It's the process. And then the final process comes into order. So this whole idea of order, think about that. And there's something about the nature of chaos that does give form to order. Except in my garage. Our daughter texted me the other day, one of our daughters, and says, look what was on eBay or one of those. She said, it's a coffee table just like ours in the 70s. I love it. And I said, I've got that down in the basement. I'm not kidding. I said, maybe we should get it out and be retro. I don't know what. No, it's true. It is there. So keeping our finances in order is paramount to financial freedom. And if that feels overwhelming, getting things in order, we just one step, a journey of 1,000 miles, one thing at a time, one thing at a time, and it will feel good. It will feel good, because isn't that what we're after? Always feeling good. It's not the things; it's feeling good. So, contend 3 is continually establish ourselves in the flow of good with our spiritual practices. And that's not new. You guys, we hear that all the time. We hear it so often, maybe we just tune it out. In Isaiah, it says, you will keep in perfect peace those whose minds are steadfast because they trust. They trust. We will keep in peace. That means to study, practice, pay, meditation, treat, and move our feet. And affirmations. Eric Butterworth said this. I have an affirmation here, you guys. I want us to say it together. I'll say it first, because you don't know what it is, so I guess I'll have to say it first. All right. I establish myself in the limitless substance of God, and I have abundance. Let's say it together. I establish myself in the limitless substance of God, and I have abundance. And so what he says about affirmation, so get an affirmation, paste it up for yourself. But remember this, those words do not come true because we affirm them. We affirm them because they are true. And we are synchronizing our consciousness with the reality of truth. That we speak this truth and synchronize our consciousness, creating a channel, you guys, a channel through which the mystical flow may do powerful things through you. Eric Butterworth. He says, when we establish ourselves in the consciousness of God, the whole universe moves to flow into us with this abundance of life and substance. In other words, seek first the kingdom, and all else shall be added. Namaste.
This is a song called Shine On by May Earlywine. Knock me off of my feet, but I think it's time for me to start walking again. Stop running away from them. Next time you see me, I will be singing a new song. I'm learning to shine on, shine on, shine on. There'll be time enough for darkness when everything's gone. Shine on, shine on. There is work to be done in the dark before dawn. And it's been hard not to give in, and it ain't easy living in hard times. I know it's weighing on your mind. Next time you see me, I'll be uplifting. Yes, I will give you hope. I am learning as I go to shine on. Sing with me if you want to. Shine on, shine on. There'll be time enough for darkness when everything's gone. Shine on, shine on. There is work to be done in the dark before dawn. I know how dark it seems. Feel it coming up inside of me, and I feel it in you too. In everything you do. Next time you see me, we'll both be laughing. Oh, just to be alive. We are learning to shine, shine on, shine on, shine on. There'll be time enough for darkness when everything's gone. Shine on, shine on. There is work to be done in the dark before dawn. Last last time. Shine on, shine on. There is work to be done, so you've got to shine on. Thank you. Thanks for shining with me.
Wow, thank you, Ari. You are a beacon of light. Thank you.
Yes. You'll be back, right?
Yes, in the
Okay.
new year.
Okay.
I will be gone for a few months, unfortunately, but I'll be back.
Okay. So this is our special time to shine on. Let's show how we can shine on with how generous we feel after a message that we just had, like Reverend Julie just gave. If the ushers will come forward, gatherers, that's what they are, gatherers. Gathering in the sheep.
Bringing the sheep.
Oh, pardon me. Bringing in the sheep. Okay. Got that now. You know what to do. You know what to do. Just open your hearts and just let flow what means to come. And before we do that, we do have in the program the affirmation that is amazingly powerful. Oh, pardon me. You know why we come to the podium here like this is because it's being broadcast also out across the whole world, and nobody can hear us if we stand down there. So, you know what to say right down there under the offertory? Divine love in me and through me multiplies all that I am, all that I have,
All that I give and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
I am grateful. I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful. I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful. I am grateful for abundance in my life. I am grateful. I am grateful for abundance in my life.
Come forward to be grateful. We are so grateful. We have grateful hearts. We have a grateful life that we live. We know what gratitude does. It's the thankfulness we have for just being alive at this time, together in this place, and to be able to share what we do every time we get together. Thank you to you all for your sharing. And I give that thanks as I go out into the universe and become manifest as the great abundance of all time. And so it is.
So it is. And so let us stand for our prayer of protection and our peace song together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
It's easier. Yeah.
Let there be peace on earth and let it begin with me. Thank